The following story has been brought to you by StoriesToInspire.org.
Perhaps many of you know that last year, Baruch Hashem, I still have to give a Hakar Satov to the Ribbon Shalom because I was in a very bad place last year. Last year, right before Rosh Hashanah, I was admitted into the hospital. I ended up in the intensive, what they call the ICCU. It's not a stutter, it's the intensive care cardiac unit. Because I got what's known as sepsis. I got a blood infection. And the blood infection then spread to my heart rate dropped in half, and I ended up in the ICCU. I could just tell you that I brought down the average age by about 50 years. And it was an intense experience. And there's a lot to the story that I'm not going to go into because it's not relevant for tonight. But what I'm going to tell you is that when I went through that, I finally understood, wow, what does it mean that someone's sick and someone's in the hospital and someone doesn't know what's going to happen? And every single doctor said to me, when I ask, so what's the problem? What can be done? They all said the same thing. This is in Israel. So they said, Anachnu lo yodim. I said, what? They said, we don't know. I said, what do you mean you don't know? They said, doctors don't know everything. We don't know everything. They said it more like, we don't know everything. What do you want? We don't know everything. I said, what can you do? We don't know. Okay. A day passes, another day. I end up, now I'm in the ICCU. It's Rosh Hashanah day. I said, Al tedag. Machar. Hamumche bebradycardia. Which is Hebrew for bradycardia. The expert in slow heart rate is going to come visit you. He's going to tell you what to do. I said, great. Okay, wonderful. There's hope. So what happens the next day? I'm going to go with this one. So what happens the next day? The next day, the expert comes in, the mumche, he comes into the room, and he says to me, he checks everything, he looks at everything, and I said, okay, so what's the problem? He says, me'od muzar, which means very, very strange. I said, listen, I wasn't asking you how you felt about me. I wanted to know my medical prognosis. Maybe we can talk about that. Personal we'll deal with after. So he says, "Lo, מאוד מוזר. Your charts are very strange." I said, "So what's the problem? Rosh Hashanah day. What's the problem?" "אני לא יודע. חג שמח." He said, "חג שמח? What? What does that even mean? אתה לא יודע חג שמח." So מי יודע? אחד, מי יודע? I said, "Do not start singing Pesach songs. It's Rosh Hashanah. Tell me what it is." He had no idea. Baruch Hashem, I got through it with tefillah and with tshuva and with tzedakah, obviously, and with anyone who davened. I thank you from the bottom of my heart. And if you didn't daven for me, I have a lot of things I want to say, but it's not the time. We get so much more than we give. When we help others, we really help ourselves. When we help others, we really help ourselves. I'll tell you an amazing story. You probably have heard it before. Just don't be that guy. The story is told about somebody who was in his home and he gets a knock on the door. Not a wealthy person, very hard, challenging life was going on. But okay, he gets a knock, he opens the door. Not that if you didn't have a challenging life, you don't open the door, but you get the point. Someone knocks on the door. They open the door, and there's a woman standing there like, tzedakah, can I have some tzedakah? And he goes, lady, I'm really sorry, I just don't have any tzedakah. No, come on, I need tzedakah, I need something. Please, could you give me tzedakah? I need you to give me something, I need tzedakah. Lady, I'm sorry, I don't have any tzedakah. Gavriel, mihela, I don't have anything. No, I need it, don't you understand? Lady, I don't have anything. Well, what do you have? Lady, it's like Erev Shabbos, the only thing I have is chicken. You know what I mean? I made chicken for Shabbos, it's the only thing I have. She says, give me chicken. Serious? Give me chicken. If you don't have money, give me chicken. He's like, lady, I don't have chicken. You just said you have chicken. I don't have chicken. All of a sudden, the chicken walks by. What was that? I don't know. What was nothing? Close the door. He goes, I'm sorry, lady, I don't. Fine. Okay, you really need it? Yeah, I need it. Now, get me the chicken now. He's like, relax. And he runs to the kitchen, opens the fridge to get the chicken. And when he opens up the fridge, he sees his little child turning blue. Takes the child out, and this saved the child's life. He went back to give the chicken, and the lady said, thank you. It had to be. Okay, maybe it was. I don't know. It's like I've heard other versions, and it was a man. Anyway, so the point is, that's not even the point. The point is, he's willing to go and help. And what ended up happening? He thinks he was helping this lady. Fine, I'll help her. In the end, what happened? He helped himself. When we help other people, we really help ourselves. Who knows what happens when we go and we give tzedakah, or when we daven for someone, or when we help someone. Sometimes we never see the end of the story. The reason I've mentioned to you before the concept that I was in my circumstance last year is because I wanted to share with you the following story. One of my Talmidim, who I consider a friend of mine, he still considers himself a Talmud, and it's very flattering. One of my Talmidim, friends, he was married for a number of years. I think it was about 7 years. He didn't have any children. Tried and tried and tried and tried, and finally they had a baby boy. They had a baby boy. We were close. And I said, you know what? My wife was so excited this. My wife makes a cake. I would say I made a cake, but who am I kidding? I can cake, okay? I can bake cakes. I can cake, we call it. But she goes and she makes a cake, right? We had to give a cake, for the Shalom Zachar. I said, okay. I call him up. I said, Ploni. He said, I don't like when you call me that. Could you just call me my name? I said, okay, whatever. But for you, I'll say Ploni. I said, listen, I want to bring over something. Are you home? He said, oh, wow, thank you so much. I was totally unexpected. Thank you. I come to his apartment, and I go, and he opens the door, and I say, okay, here's the cake. Is the baby going to be here tonight? Maybe come for the Shalom Zachar. He says, I don't know. I'm not sure if the baby's going to be here tonight. I said, oh, okay. No questions. You don't really, not a good idea to ask questions. So I said, okay. And I'm about to leave. And he said, listen, I want to tell you something, but I didn't tell anyone. I said, okay. He said, the reason why the baby might not be here is because the doctors are nervous that there might be something wrong with the baby. I said, what are they nervous about? He said, they're nervous that maybe there's bleeding in the brain. So I don't know. I don't know what's going to be. I don't know what the story is. I said, okay, so what's your wife's name? And maybe I'll daven for the baby. So he tells me his wife's name. I said, what's the baby's name? Tinoch, right? Okay, right? Yeled. I said, okay. So I go home, I daven for the baby. Baruch Hashem. Everything turns out it's fine. Cutie pie. Bli ayin hara. I'm just telling you right now. This kid is cute. There's cute kids and there are cute kids. There are kids you say are cute and there are kids that are cute. And this kid you say is cute and they are. And let me tell you something. Okay. Fast forward a little bit after that. Just a little bit after that. I end up in the hospital. They're checking me. They don't know what it is. They don't know what's going on. They don't know what to do. They're checking left and right. When I came into the hospital, it was a state of shock. They didn't know what was wrong with me. They didn't even know what to do. But in the emergency room, they start working me. And I could tell you, I was out of it. Not unconscious, just out of it. I know that hospital that I was in, Hadassah Har Tzofim. It's in my neighborhood. I know the hospital. I've been there many, many times because I used to volunteer for Magen David Adom. I worked as a EMT. I've been in that hospital. I've been in that emergency room many times, but I had no idea where I was. Even though when I afterwards went back, they're like, "Oh, you were there." I'm like, "That's where I was the whole time." I had no idea. It's totally like they're passing me through on that little thing that. What do you call those things? You got it. I don't know the things. Yeah, hadavar hazeh. And they go ahead, and I just see like light. And then they're checking me. And then they go ahead, and one person starts checking my eyes. And when I'm asking, what's the problem? What's the problem with me? They say, Anachnu lo yodim. We don't know. Do you know? I don't know. What about you? No one knows. Then they go and they're checking my eyes, and this doctor, then they start going like a rapid fire Hebrew, but I don't think it was really Hebrew. There's like, brrr, that's what they said. And I was like, brrr, I got a question. What are you doing? So the guy's like, open your eyes. I'm like, okay. And he's like looking in my eyes with lights, similar to these two, which you can't see, and neither can I. And they were checking my pupils. And the guy then goes to the other guy, he goes, brr. The girl goes, yeah, girl, brr, brr. All right, that's it. Let's go. Let's take him now. I'm like, where are you taking me? He said, we have to take you for a CT scan. I said, how come? I said, what's wrong? They said, you might have bleeding in your brain. I said, okay, let me get this straight. For 10 minutes, I'm asking what's wrong with me. You say, I don't know, I don't know, I don't know, I don't know. Did you have to tell me what you just said? Couldn't you just say, I don't know? That's the time you want to show your medical prowess, you know? And I went in, and Baruch Hashem, it wasn't. Or who knows, but it wasn't. And I only thought about this morning. Who knows? Maybe the reason why Hashem put me in that particular moment of my circumstance was to point out to me, you are willing to daven for somebody else who's going through something? Maybe this is what helped you. We have no idea. And we do a chesed, and we do a kindness, and we do another, and we think we help others. But when we help others, we help ourselves. Enjoyed this story? Come again. Bring a friend. StoriesToInspire.org